right, so ever since we moved, got all of our cookbooks, unpacked, put on the shelf. Found one of my grandpa and grandma's recipes. They retired, moved to Arkansas in the 70s, and this is one of their homemade recipe book. Pretty easy, and it's just the people in their little community. They had had all the recipes, and they lived right on a river that is known for trout fishing. So they catch a lot of trout. They ate a lot of trout. Here are the first recipes. This is a joke in our family. Okay, ways with trout. You can have fried trout. You can have smoked trout. Trout that tastes like sardines. You can make trout fish boil. You can do trout to taste like shrimp. You can do trout that tastes like salmon croquettes. You can do trout that tastes like salmon. Everything except trout. Pickled trout as good or better than herring. I love reading these recipes in here, and I'm gonna make one that my grandma always used to make whenever we used to go visit them. And Mrs. Cheap is shaking her head saying, no, no, no. I honestly am the only one in my whole family that love these things. I would look forward to my grandma serving these at happy hour every night. And they're just little onion sticks. I'm gonna show you how to make them, and I love them. I think they're great, so I don't have a problem eating all of them. Okay, these are my grandma's. Grandma Cheap's onion sticks. All you need is white sandwich bread, a stick and a half of margarine. Nah, I do butter. Grandma did margarine. And a package of onion soup mix. So we have the softened butter, and I'm just going to add the onion soup mix in there. Let me get it spread out a little bit. Ooh, this stuff is salty, and I've mentioned how much I love just the dried onions anyway. And there's so many of them in this stuff.
I just don't get it.
I know. I know you don't. And these are like croutons. They're just like crouton sticks. So they last a long time. So, a few weeks. So I just snack on them and eat them, and then I'm tired of them and I don't make them for a couple of years.
What's it with you Danish heritage and dried out bread?
Well, that's eating cheap. You use the old dry bread, you don't throw it away, you make something nice with it, like, croutons or onion sticks or tweebakken.
That I don't understand at all.
We had that growing up when I was a kid. You do it with old hot dog and hamburger buns, and you just cover them with butter and sugar and bake them on a low heat so it pretty much just dries it out. And I had tweebakken with hot chocolate for breakfast a lot of mornings. Tasty stuff.
It's like a sweet crouton. I just don't get it.
And it's a hamburger hot dog bun. That's kind of weird. All right, getting this all mixed up. It smells good, oniony. Now, Grandma Cheap the instructions say, cut a slice of bread into 4 strips. But I don't do that because that makes it really hard to spread on there. So I spread it on the whole piece and then use a pizza cutter to cut it. We're pretty mixed up here, so let's get our bread ready. Now this says this is enough for 14 slices of bread. I just go till I'm out. And Mrs. Cheap just said, no, you don't cut the crusts off? No, leave them on. So you just spread it on there.
Just a pretty thin layer.
Yeah. And the onions just kind of, make it a little rough.
Maybe it's the dehydrated onion thing too. I'm not you know that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, in my family, my mom, my dad, my sisters, and I, apparently I was the only one who really, really loved these things.
I can remember going to visit your grandpa and grandma when they were in the home, and you would bring some of these, and your grandma would just hold them hold them to her chest like they were treasure.
Oh yeah, and she would probably eat them, just eat like half one a day so they would last longer.
But she lived to be 99, so yeah. There's something going.
So don't make fun of my family and our dried breads, huh?
No, you got some good genes there. That and pimento cheese. She was a
pimento
happy
cheese
woman.
And avocados. It's why our family, I mean, I was a kid in the 60s and we had avocado toast all the time. Now it's this gourmet thing. I grew up on that stuff. Finishing up. This one will be a little light, but that's okay. All right, now I just need to cut these into strips. So I'm gonna cut them this way. Thinking. And for that, I use my pizza cutter. So we do it just like this. If you use a knife, you know, it kind of tears it up a little bit. Pizza cutter works pretty well. Now we're just gonna need to put these onto the cookie sheet or the baking sheet or the toasted onion sticks sheet. Spread just a little bit apart. I got the oven preheating to 300.
And you're not really toasting them, you're like drying them out, right?
You're kind of, yeah, you don't want them to turn brown. You want to turn the oven off before they turn brown. You're just drying it out, kind of like a crouton. Those will be the last ones that I eat. They'll be at the bottom of the bag because they won't have as much stuff on them.
Well, they're all yours. You're going to be eating them a while.
I know. And it's so much easier using this pizza cutter. I really, really like that. You use a knife, you know, you're sawing on it and it kind of tears it up. This is much easier.
You playing Tetris with the bread?
A little bit, just trying to separate a little bit. So there you go. There's all of our bread ready to go. Gonna get this in the oven, 300, and then watch it. Alrighty, so that's what we're looking for. These were in probably, about 30 minutes maybe. And you're just looking for, you see they didn't really toast. That's just the butter kind of browned it a little there. I don't know if I can get a better one. They didn't toast. They don't turn brown much, or just when they're starting to turn that way. But now we just need to let them dry out. There's a good look at one, what it looks like. Just let them dry out. And, oh, I got dibs on that one right there, Mrs. Cheap. Look at all that onion.
You got dibs on all of them, sweetie.
Yep. Just got to let them cool, and then you can put them in a Ziploc, and they're good for a long time. I'm going to let them cool, and then I'll try one. So there we go. They're all dried out. Grandma Cheap's onion sticks. All right, so I ate a few during the game today.
I didn't eat any.
I'll have one more just because, you know, I'll eat a small one. Because I have to have one, you know. Dry, crunchy, beefy, salty, oniony. That's what I want. My family doesn't like them, that's fine. I love them. Into the Ziploc they go. They'll last a couple of weeks, and the great thing is, you know, you get them all in there, and when you get to the final ones, there's just a bunch of like dried onion at the bottom. It's good stuff. Mrs. Cheap is like, oh.
I could see your grandma in there, like getting the crummies out of the bottom.
Yeah. Every last one. Yep, Grandma Cheap. Thanks for watching Johnny's Cheap. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Like the video, share it too. And thanks for watching.